Ward Morehouse III here. I wonder what the other two were like.
In talking about the Hudson Theater, Elvis was at the Hudson singing "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog."
Jackie Gleason show?
No, Steve Allen. Steve Allen, that was his gimmick. He said, "I want you to sing to this hound dog." He brought the hound dog, put him on a table, and made Elvis sing to it. And Elvis was just recently discovered. I mean, weeks before that, he was told he couldn't sing. And so he's up on the Hudson Theater singing to the hound dog, "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog."
Kidding.
And he thought he'd be booed off the stage, but he wasn't. It was a hit. And
what are they doing with that Hudson Theater now?
Well, it's a corporate events space.
What does that mean?
Well, they have something like the Drama League. They have IBM.
Was Drama League there? Did they have their
No,
party?
It wasn't. The Drama League party was actually at the Pierre Hotel.
Yeah, that was a nice one the other night, huh?
Very nice. You were there.
No.
No, you were.
I got uninvited to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was. The press didn't have any food. It didn't have any
They
drink.
wanted money.
Oh, they wanted at least $200. Yeah. And but speaking of.
No, I was just doing something else. That we go to all these things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always something, as you know.
Stuart Lane was one of the chairman, or was on the committee.
He's the guy who owns the Palace Theater.
Owns the Palace Theater. Bonnie Cumley was the chairman of the entertainment committee of the Drama League. Anyway, Stuart and I wrote a play called "If It Was Easy," done in about 10 years ago now. It has been done at small theaters around the country. And we lasted about 3 months off-Broadway, and it was about Frank Sinatra. Anyway, it was announced in the paper that Stuart Lane was doing this play about Frank Sinatra, and people started calling him with money. That's the first time a Broadway producer actually was offered money.
Well, then you ought to have a big hit here with Fred Travelina's wife, because that's what Fred wrote for a year, was Frank Sinatra's story. He also sang very much like him, the same style. She was just here, Did you meet her?
I did. I mean, I saw her in the.
The show is about Frank Sinatra.
Yes.
And she met Pat Addis, who's a producer who did Spring Awakening and Fantastics and a lot of other things.
And now Scorsese's going to do a movie about Sinatra?
doing Promises.
Yeah.
At the Broadway Theater.
When?
With Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah.
Well, it opens on March 8th, I think.
That'd be great.
That's actually my birthday, March 8th.
Yeah.
That's not why they're doing it.
That's what you think.
But unfortunately,
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so the Hudson Theater it needs a regular show in there, doesn't it?
It does, but they've been reluctant to do that because of the union situation on Broadway. It's just so expensive to do a play on Broadway.
About a television
I mean, if you're
show?
going to do a comedian, or you're going to do Kreskin, or this.
Yeah, Kreskin, why don't you work Vegas again?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
You'd have to have 4 stagehands. No, I mean on Broadway. I mean it's.
Would you have to have animals if you did Vegas again? And
I don't use that. He really threw it. I don't. No, you got to understand. Their names were Siegfried and Roy.
Just wonder if you want to get into
when you talk about the Hudson Theater and Steve Allen and Jack Parr. Do you know? And I knew the producers well. I knew them very, very well. One, Tom O'Malley, became very close to me in the latter years of his life and was an associate producer of my TV series. And you know what both of them had as when they wanted to have a strong variety act. Now you had magicians, you had jugglers, you had all kinds of.
They both had heart attacks.
You know what they
both
thought of that they wanted most of all? A hypnotist. Hypnotism was fascinating to Jack Parr. Steve Allen was fascinated with it. So
and of course, Johnny Carson had what was his character called?
Karnak.
That's another. The characters that was based on somebody else.
Based on Kreskin.
Based on me.
Wow.
Yeah. But that was because of Steve Allen. My first appearance on Steve Allen in L.A. I told Sir too many times, but I walked on, and the lights were hot in those days, and there's no rehearsal. I never rehearsed, and they just blocked off. And when I walked out, I couldn't see that well, and I walked to Steve Allen, and like the other shows, he was elevated on a dais, and I tripped over the dais and fell on the table, and Carson saw it, and 8 weeks later created Karnak. That's me.
That's right. Well, Carson wore that oversized,
the turban. That was not me.
yarmulke. The great routines that we've seen on television, you don't see too much of anymore. There's not a lot of best of.
Steve Allen did great routines with the cast of characters he had.
You had to create them. That's why you create whatever didn't happen. You had to write about, and I don't think we have that kind of a industry anymore. Where people are actually doing shows.
We were mentioning George M. Cohan off the air, and he was at the theater. He did about 8 shows in the 1920s at the Hudson Theater.
Did he?
Yes. 8 shows. He sort of had it under lock and key, or he had it locked up. And he had a fight with the famous fight with Actors Equity in 1919 when he refused to join Actors Equity.
That was incredible, to refuse that.
And continued on with the show business career and had about 8 shows at the Hudson Theater after 1919, all through the 20s. The man who built the Hudson Theater went down in the Titanic. And his wife, Mrs. Harris, put her jewelry in his pocket. And when they fished him out of the North Atlantic, the jewelry was gone. And it's somewhere in the Hudson Theater today.
Yeah, probably.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Well, Kreskin will find it, just like he does the check at the end of his show.
Right.
But there's a shark somewhere.
Yeah, right.
That has a nice pinky ring.
Yeah, right.
So the Hudson book is yours, right? Is that it?
Yes,
is that
it
the
is.
deal? Is that what you're pushing right now?
Yeah, that and other things.
What else?
Yeah.
What else you got?
Well, BroadwayAfterDark.com. We've got about.
What do you do
50,
on that?
I'm the editor of it. I do some stories. I do some travel stories mostly.
Yeah.
But we have about 15 people working, and we cover off Broadway as well as Broadway.
Where did you travel to?
I traveled to Boston. I traveled to Brussels, to Santa Fe. Did a series on George O'Keeffe and Stiglitz.
So this is all done for the internet.
It's all done for the internet. I also write for something called Travel Smart Newsletter, which goes to about 300 people, 300,000 people. I'm sorry, 300 people.
Yeah.
A little slip of the tongue there.
Well, it's all right. It's like my Facebook.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I have too many requests.
Right.
Have you ever gotten that flag on your Facebook?
I don't have Facebook, so
No, you don't have that.
Yeah, but Travel Smart.
Put it up there, and it says too many requests.
Too many
You have it
requests,
put up
yeah.
there so you can feel important.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you look at the pictures of your friends, and there's a drooling hunchback.
I did a 3-part series on Thomas Wolfe, celebrating Thomas Wolfe in Asheville, North Carolina, then in Turtle Bay, and then in Chelsea. And he lived at the Chelsea Hotel, great artist colony.
We're back
there.
to hotels again.
And then
You can't stay away, can you?
Can't stay away.
Because your father did that. Because you
Yeah.
lived at the Plaza, and you have it in your genes.
Well, in London, I stayed at 28 hotels in 27 days.
Who paid?
Who played?
A different hotel every day?
A different hotel every day.
Did
yeah.
they pay for it?
It was sort of, yeah.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Obviously, you
People
were
just
not a
walk in-
welcome guest.
When I did that, it's because I was skipping out on the bill.
Right. Well, those days you could pay on the way out.
Yeah, and see, when I do it, it's like I stayed on 27 different friends' couches.
Yeah. And you had to give them your Visa card.
Right. And I
you still had to
ducked
pay.
out on the bill.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun having you here tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ward. Ward Morehouse. Go to Broadway After Dark.
My father lived in 29 hotels in New York City alone.
Yeah.
Including the Plaza, the Waldorf. And my mother always had a bag packed so that they could make a quick getaway.
And tomorrow night, Kreskin opens with Rick Younger at the Hudson. They'll be playing there with Miss Miller will be in the audience.
Miss Miller. Oh, my God, remember?
Yeah,
Miss
thanks for
Miller?
being here tonight, Kreskin.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have you read my mind. And you knew that I was thinking that anyway. And I'm thinking a lot of other thoughts, but I don't want you to know what they are. So I got Rick in front of me.
It was a great evening.
So you're getting Rick's thoughts, but it's my mind.
I won't tell you Rick's thoughts in public. No, I'm only joking, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Hey, everybody, come out to the Rick Younger Show March 7th. It's also my birthday.
We heard this.
And where is that?
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's at the Parkside Lounge on Houston Street.
Okay.
Yeah. It would be Houston.
All right.
If you're in any other
yeah,
city.
any other place.
Houston.
Or just go to
Houston.
rickyounger.net. You'll see everything.
We'll be right back.